If you do even half of these things, you will see a huge increase in your levels of productivity and subsequently the amount of money that you make. Here are 8 things that I did to earn over $400,000 before the age of 30. The very first thing that I did was I did not watch TV. Now, I've never really been a big TV watcher to begin with. Like when people be watching TV and playing video games, when you're at that age, I was never really into those things. I think the extent of my TV watching or video game playing, like for TV, it was like Scandal and Suits and like How to Get Away with Murder, right? Those Shonda Rhimes dramas. Oh my gosh, right? And for like video games, I play Wii, right? But other than that, from when I was younger, I never really was a big TV watcher, and so this one was never difficult for me. But when I was trying to get myself to my goals, right, building my business, landing my big law job, all those kinds of things in law school, that TV, my TV, that's literally right there, it was never on. It was never on. If I was coming home from class or coming home from work or whatever it may be, I didn't turn on the TV. Instead, I would be watching or learning something that would improve my skills. So a lot of those things for me was watching a YouTube video that would help me learn more about building a business. It was reading a book, right? I have literally, guys, I have like a whole list of like 12 plus books that I read to help me get my business to where it was, right? I would be reading, watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts, whatever it was, in some way, shape, or form. I was immersing myself in a learning environment. And so eliminating that TV, like if you think about it, it might seem like a small thing, but over time that adds up. Like if you come home and you watch TV 1 to 2 hours per day, easily if you're doing that Monday through Friday, easily you're 5 hours to 10 hours watching TV. And I know some of you guys, some people, you watch TV more than 2 hours a day. You wake up in the morning and you turn on the TV. You get home at night and you're watching TV for 3 to 4 hours. Imagine instead that those 10 hours going to learning a new skill or going towards like building your business or going towards like increasing your productivity at work or going towards getting a pay raise because you're doing something that your employer is going to recognize you for, like whatever it may be, just taking those hours instead and using it towards a side hustle, doing better at your job, making your self-management material, developing leadership skills, taking a course. I could literally go on and on, but that's so many hours that you could essentially use to maximize your earning potential. So for me, that was super, super important. And even to this day, my TV is pretty much always off, okay? So that's number 1. Number 2 is I write things down. Literally right here, I have my iPad, I have my computer right there, I have my phone right here. Every chance I get, I write something down. And that's because you don't want to have so many things floating in your head because inevitably you're going to forget. And so for me, if I have a business idea, if I have an idea of a YouTube video, if I have a video idea for TikTok or for Instagram, if there's something at work that I know I need to get done, if there's a deadline I have coming up for work that I know needs to be done by a certain time, I write it down, okay? And once I have those things written down, I don't just leave it down. It is organized, right? I write them down, organize it, and prioritize it because there's something called block scheduling, that's a whole different video on like productivity and all that kinds of stuff. But essentially, if an idea comes to my head, if I'm in the shower, if I'm at the gym, no matter where I am, I'll grab my phone and I'll put it in my notes app, but then I'll take that and organize that. So for example, if I'm talking about work, I'm on different case teams. I have sections for each case team and I'm writing down what I need to get done. And I'm writing down the deadlines and I'm writing down like how long I think it's going to take me. And then I also have like, okay, I got a business idea. Okay, I want to write out this email. I want to do this, right? Keeping myself very organized by actually putting a pen to paper. Of course, you can do it in Google Docs and things like that, but you may not always have access to Google Docs, right? You may not always have access to like your dedicated like online platform if you keep all of that on your computer. So the easiest thing for me is I will grab my phone or grab my iPad or whatever it is. If I'm at the gym, just jot it down really quickly in my notes app and then transfer it later on. But it's so important to get into the habit of writing things down so that you don't forget it, so that things don't escape you, because then you'll be like, what was that thing I said I wanted to do? And don't get me wrong, I definitely still have those moments, but just to the extent possible, whenever something good comes into my head, whenever I hear someone say something and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to try that or I need to implement that, I'll just make a point to write it down so that I don't forget, and I know like, okay, I need to go back to this. This is on my to-do list. This is a priority that I need to make to get to a goal that I have for myself, right? So just making that a priority, writing things down the minute you think about it as like a grocery list. Writing down, like if you're going grocery shopping, I don't know about you, but I have a grocery list and I'm like checking things off my grocery list. I order my groceries online and I get them delivered, but I still have a list nonetheless of like, okay, I'm running out of this, whatever. That's kind of how you can think about, okay, let me kind of get my life in order. Is just write everything down. Number 3 is I read and I learn a lot. Now, this one does not come as a surprise given what I told you about my habit number 1, but I kid you not, I'm always trying to learn something. I am always trying to get better at something. I'm always trying to understand something. And for me too, I love reading. If you read a lot or you used to read a lot, let me know down in the comments below what kind of books you used to read. But I used to love romance novels. And I kid you not, like a 1,000-page book, I would be in my bed like reading until 2 a.m., even though I had school the next day at 14 years old, whatever, because the book was so good, right? So I was always into reading. Now I read a lot more business books, finance books, money books, investment books, self-improvement books, a little bit more so the former, but I just love reading. And from all of those books, I'm always learning something new, right? I'm always learning something new or thinking like, that's a good idea. Let me try and implement that. One of the reasons I was able to do so well in my business is because of the concepts, because of the ideas, because of the things that I learned from reading books, okay? I still do other things to learn. Even if you're not into reading, you can do audiobooks. And let me give you a cheat code here. Go to your local library's website. Right? Go to your local library's website or whatever city, county, whatever you're in, go to their website and sign up for a library card. You can literally get books for free. You can check them out as a regular book and download it to your phone, iPad, computer, whatever, or you can download the audio book, right? And so I also really enjoy audiobooks. My favorite time to listen to audiobooks is when I'm on a plane, especially for those 2-3 hour flights. There and back, I will finish a whole audiobook, right? Because if it's 3 hours there and 3 hours back, that's 6 hours. If the audiobook is 6 hours, I finished the whole audiobook. So that's another thing. Another thing I used to do too is just when I'm driving to work, if it's not an audiobook, it's a podcast. I have a podcast queued up. I'll find what I want to listen to and I'll play it. Sometimes my drive to work is only 10 or 15 minutes and I will still put on a podcast, okay? So it's always just making sure I was in the space of learning because there's always something you can do. There's always something more for you to learn. And one of my favorite sayings is if you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to be in another room or you're in the wrong room, right? Because I always think there's always more to learn. You can always learn something from someone. And if you cater your learning to where you are trying to improve, where you're trying to get better, whether that be life, whether that be self-improvement, whether that be money, whether that be business, side hustles, whatever it may be, there is something out there for you, right? And so finding the audiobooks, finding the regular books, finding the podcast, finding YouTube channels like this one, yay, and just listening to them so that you can really see that improvement that you're wanting to see. Number 4, I paid coaches and mentors. This is definitely one of the biggest things that I did for myself that has helped me like 10x or 10x my investment is paying coaches and mentors who are experts in their field or experts in what I was trying to learn, right? So I have never been someone who's gonna willingly fumble through something, or I'm just gonna figure it out on my own, or, I'm just gonna fail 100 times instead of just paying someone so I only fail 50 times instead of 100 times. I have always been like, I'm willing to pay for someone's expertise to teach me how to do it so that I can do it for myself. I have always been willing to invest in myself if I was concrete on the return on that investment, right? So I'm not telling you that I went out and paid non-experts, or I went out and paid people who I didn't believe could get me to where I wanted to go. No, I did my due diligence, I did my research, and I found the people who could get me to where I wanted to go. That's how I was before law school. That's how I was in law school. It's why I did so well and got the federal clerkships and the big law jobs. And it's how I was in business. That's why I was able to get my business to multiple six figures in 2 years' time, right? I had coaches. I had people telling me what to do, telling me how to do it, and then tweaking things when it didn't work, right? And don't think that when you're hiring coaches or hiring mentors that it's foolproof, right? Just because you hire someone, what they are there to do, they are there to help you, to guide you, to tell you what next steps are, to help you consider different alternatives. It doesn't necessarily mean, oh, you hire a coach to help you get to six figures, you're gonna get to six figures in 3 months, or you're gonna get to six figures in a year. No, they are giving you the necessary steps so you don't have to guess. But the implementation and the tweaking with their help is all on you. So it's not just hire a coach and expect it to fall. You still have to do the work, right? And so for me, I was hiring coaches and I was doing the work, and I've always seen it paid off, okay? The fifth habit is I have a plan, right? So one of my favorite verses is write the vision and make it plain. Do not keep your plans in your head. Write it down on paper. Type it up on your computer. Whatever it is, get it out of your head and get it onto paper. You need a plan. And when I say you need a plan is not, I want to make six figures. I want to make 200,000. I want to make 400,000. I want to do better at my job. That's not a plan, right? A plan is, here is my goal and here is what I am going to do to get there. Okay. And that is why you need to write it down. Like, obviously, that may change. What you write down, the steps you write down to get there, that may change, and that is okay. It should change. That means it's working because you're realizing things don't work, or this has to be changed, or whatever it may be. But you need to at least write down an idea, like, what am I going to do to get to this goal? What is my plan going to actually be? Write the vision and make it plain, because when you write it down, it becomes more real. It's no longer just a figment of your imagination. It's no longer just sitting in your head, but it's actually like, okay, this is on paper. This girl, this man, this woman, whatever, they are serious. Like, they're not playing anymore. Okay. So if you haven't already made your plan for 2025, now is the time to actually sit down and do that. I made my plan, and I've got a plan kind of in multiple different arenas for what my goals are. So that's the next thing that I've done. Number 6 is I track my progress. I feel like this is probably one of the most overlooked steps, and I don't hear very many people talking about this. But yes, even if you have a plan, even if you write the steps, it's so important to track your progress. You have to go back and see, did this thing that I said I was going to do, number one, did I actually do it and actually put my all into it? And if so, did it work? Right? So let me give you a concrete example here. If you say, for example, I am going to become a better boss at work, and to become a better boss, I am going to make it a point to compliment 3 of my employees daily, right? And let's say you do that for 2 months. You compliment 3 of your employees for 2 months. So that's actually the implementation. And then it's review time after the 3 months or after the 4 months, and your employees get to review you, and your review is no different than what it was before. Then tracking your progress would be, this part of my plan didn't get the results that I was hoping for because my reviews didn't change. I'll give you another example. Let's say you set a goal to get a side hustle and get it to make you an extra $2,000 per month. And to do that, you are going to reach out to 5 business owners to ask them if you can be their virtual assistant. And let's say you reach out to 5 business owners in the span of a month, and then at the end of that month, none of them hired you. Well, then you know, okay, either 1, reaching out to 5 business owners isn't enough, or 2, I'm reaching out to the wrong kind of person, or 3, maybe I need to refine my pitch, right? So that's what I mean when I say track your progress. You have to learn what works and what doesn't work, and this is for all areas of your life. If you're trying to get a new job, if you're trying to increase your productivity, if you're trying to make more money, whatever it may be, you have to track your progress and see, Is this working? And if it's not working, what do I need to revise? What do I need to change to get it to start working? Okay. So don't just make a plan and then leave it, right? It applies to the gym. I could go on and on with everything that it applies to, but for me, when I have a plan, I literally say, here are the things that I'm gonna do. And if you haven't read the 12-week year, that's a great book for this. And I'm gonna do a whole nother video on books. So if you haven't, make sure you're subscribed and make sure you share this video with someone who you think it would be helpful for. But essentially, I write down, these bullets. Here are the things that I'm going to do this month. And then at the end of the month, I go back and I revisit it. How did these things work? If they didn't work, what didn't work about it, or what do I need to change? Number 7, one of my favorite things, guys, I stay in a community, okay? I am always in a community, and it is a paid community. And I put emphasis on paid because I have been in both free and paid communities, and paid communities are unmatched. You are with a group of like-minded people who are likewise willing to invest in themselves, they're willing to invest in themselves because they're paying to be in the community. And the result of that is usually that people are more serious. People are actually putting in the work. You can actually talk to and see what other people are doing. You can have genuine conversations with them because the community that you're in is tailored towards what it is you're trying to do. So if you're in a business community, about business, about what's working for them and what's not working for them. And they're actually putting in the work in their business because they're paying for this community, right? Versus free communities, I have noticed, and like I said, I've been in both and they're both fine and well. I just prefer paid because of that community, that mindset, the effort that goes into being in that paid community. In a free community, you're gonna get that, but sometimes people aren't as devoted, people aren't as invested, and that's because they aren't making an investment, right? I feel like in multiple aspects of life, when you invest something that means something to you, so your money, then you are more likely to put in the work to get that return on your investment. And that is why I like paid communities. So I stay in a paid community. I actually just joined one at the time of this filming, literally this week, and it's close to 4 figures per month. And guys, I am already seeing the return on my investment in this community. I'm learning so much. It's just like chef's kiss. For my law school community, I have a law school coaching community. For my clients, they are in there and they see the return on their investment. They're doing things they've never even heard of, right? And so this is not even a promotion of my law school coaching community. I just letting you know, I practice what I preach, and I have seen the investments, I have seen the returns on these types of things. And so whatever it is you are trying to do, make more money, build a business, increase well-being, get in shape, find a community that has those like-minded individuals in it and join it, okay? You're gonna learn from them. You're gonna learn from the coaches in the community. It's just so beneficial, and it's one of my favorite things to do. Like I said, when I leave one, I join another one. The eighth thing that I do is I am generous, or I give back. This for me is just like non-negotiable, especially when it comes to family. It's not even like, oh, they're asking or they're begging. I just truly enjoy doing it, right? Because for me, one of the things that I have always prayed about, that I've always said is, God bless me so that I have the ability to bless others. And so that has always just been so important to me, and I enjoy doing it, like I said. Also, I have found too that when I give from the heart, it comes back to me tenfold, right? My store basket is full and I'm giving to others, and then my store basket just gets even more full. It's just something that I really enjoy doing. And so I've just noticed that has only come back and blessed me even more when I continue to bless others. So those are the 8 habits that made me a $400,000 plus earner before the age of 30. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. Follow me on my other social media at Sephora Gray, Esquire, ESQ for short. If you are interested in law school coaching, go ahead and click the link in the description down below. If you're applying to law school, I've got a free law school timeline for you. If you're a law school student, you can grab a free law school guide. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.